Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. The Red Knights have told the Glazers to sell Manchester United. Now, it got reported out in Sky Sports not so long ago. This is the main headline. It says, Red Knights demand Glazers losing Manchester United grip after Super League row. Lord O'Neill and Sir Paul Marshall urged the Glazers to reduce their stake in the club to below 50% in a letter seen by Sky News. Man United, one of 6 English clubs to sign up to and then leave a breakaway European Super League this week. So yeah, Sky News can reveal that Lord O'Neill, the architect of the Red Knights campaign in 2010, and the hedge fund manager Sir Paul Marshall have written to Joe Glazer, the Manchester United CEO chairman, to demand a string of immediate corporate governance reforms. In the letter, which was sent on Friday morning and has been seen by Sky News, the pair told Mr. Glazer that his family should scrap the new York-listed club's dual-class share structure and introduce a single class of voting stock. The Glazers should also, according to the letter, commit to reducing their combined stake from the current level, which stands at roughly 75% to a maximum of 49.9%. These moves would Lord O'Neill and Sir Paul argue encourage a broader group of investors to consider ownership in the club in the future if they have the same voting rights as everyone else, especially you and your 5 siblings. They added that the family should reduce its stake to below 50%, like I mentioned earlier, by selling down part of their shareholding at the original $14 IPO price as a gesture of your desire to do things right. So yeah. And then there's a line here that says, in 2010, Lord O'Neill and Sir Paul were the principal architects of the Red Knights consortium that attempted to corral sufficient support to mount a $1.25 billion takeover bid for Manchester United. So that's a lot of the things that were mentioned in that article. Now, apparently, Manchester United fans are set to protest against the Glazers before our game against Liverpool on the 2nd of May. Now, our fans recently protested against the Glazers at Carrington. He said our fans blocked entrances into the Carrington training ground to protest against the Glazers. Now, there was holding banners up and it said Glazers out 51% and MUFC 20. Solskjaer recently told protesters that Joe Glazer loves the club. The Glazers recently apologised. Joe Glazer, not so long ago, released a statement and apologised to Manchester United fans over the European Super League. Because the Glazers were planning to ditch the Champions League for the European Super League. Now, like I updated you yesterday, the Glazers have set the price to sell the club after the European Super League failure. The Glazers want a fee in the region of £4 billion. The Glazers have been at Manchester United around 16 years. They've been with us since 2005. So yeah, we definitely need to get new owners in. Because I hate the way the club has been run for a while now. Now, will Cristiano Ronaldo make a return to Manchester United? Now, recent reports have said that Cristiano Ronaldo is open to a sensational return to Man United. According to the Italian outlet Gazzetta dello Sport, Man United have made contact with Cristiano Ronaldo's agent over a return this summer, and Juventus are demanding just £26 million. Cristiano Ronaldo is on like £27 million a year. He will have to cut his £27 million a year salary in half if he's to make a return to Manchester United. Cristiano Ronaldo did endure 6 years with us. He was with us from 2003 to 2009. He won 3 Premier League titles. He won the Champions League. He won the FA Cup, the League Cup and the FIFA Club World Cup. We paid just £12 million for him from Sporting Lisbon. In 2009, we sold him to Real Madrid for £80 million. He was at Real Madrid a good 9 or 10 years. And then obviously in 2018, Juventus got him for £100 million. Been at Juventus now a few years. His current contract with Juventus expires next year. Obviously, Ronaldo is regarded as one of the best players in the world. Ronaldo's won 5 Ballon d'Ors and he's won 31 major honours in his playing career. I think he's now the age of 36. But I presume all Manchester United fans would take Cristiano Ronaldo back at the club. Italian reports said earlier on this season that there could have been a swap deal involving Cristiano Ronaldo and Paul Pogba. There's a lot of players that Manchester United are looking at. I gave you the news, didn't I, on Raphael Varane yesterday. It come out and said that we've been handed a boost in our pursuit of Raphael Varane because it said Real Madrid are closing in on David Alaba from Bayern Munich. Now, Raphael Varane prefers a move to Manchester United over PSG. Reports said from Spain not so long ago that Man United were in advanced talks with Raphael Varane. Reflecting on that, he said his move to Man United was close. He says Real Madrid are demanding £60 million. We hope to lower Real Madrid's £60 million asking price. He says Raphael Varane is ready to leave Real Madrid in the summer. His talks with Real Madrid over a new contract have stalled. Varane has just over a year left on his current contract. There was narratives coming out earlier on this season saying that Real Madrid are prepared to sell Raphael Varane on one condition. He must inform Real Madrid on his decision to leave. Back in 2018, we was prepared to sanction a £100 million move. The main explanations I'd take Raphael Varane at Manchester United is because 1, he's a world-class centre-half, 2, he's highly experienced, and 3, he'd go very well alongside Harry Maguire in our back line. And he would exceed expectations in the Premier League, so he'd replicate what he's done at Real Madrid. Being a long-serving player at Real Madrid, he's been with them 10 years. You know, he's made over 300 appearances. He's got a good pedigree behind him as a player as well, because he's won like 18 major honours at Madrid. Real Madrid paid just €10 million for him from Lens back in 2011. It said the other week that we face competition for Raphael Varane, because Bill's Christian Falk came out and said that Chelsea had entered the race, so reflecting on that, Chelsea are looking to hijack our move. It says some clubs will wait until next year to get Raphael Varane, you know, when he's available on a free. But yeah, we've been looking at quite a few centre-halves. It said a few weeks ago that Solskjaer had drawn up a 6-man centre-back shortlist. You already know the news on Declan Rice. He's another player Man United are looking at. Now, it said not so long ago that Declan Rice is interested in joining Manchester United. And he asked Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw about life at Old Trafford. He says West Ham are demanding over £100 million. That's too much though. He's a good player, but he isn't worth 100 million or more than 100 million. I reckon he's worth from between 50 to 60 million, maybe 70 million at a push. The main explanations I'd take Declan Rice at Manchester United is because he's well proven in the Premier League. That's 1. He's still young, he's got a lot of development in him. That's 2. 3, he's predominantly a holding midfielder, and Man United are in search for a holding midfielder, but there again he can be deployed as a centre-half. And his performances for West Ham have been outstanding. He's been at West Ham 7 years now, is it? He's got a contract with them until 2024. Earlier on this season, it said that Solskjaer agreed with our recruitment team that Declan Rice would be the perfect signing for the club. You obviously know the news on Ousmane Dembele from Barcelona. You know, he's been another player on our agenda. You know, there's still narratives coming out regarding Sancho and Erling Haaland. But in the summer transfer window, we'll focus on the incomings and the outgoings. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is aware of how big the summer transfer window is going to be for himself and Manchester United in general. The summer transfer window will be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's 5th transfer window as permanent Man United manager. So far he's enjoyed 4 transfer windows as permanent Man United manager. In the summer transfer window, I'm expecting Manchester United to make around 3 or 4 signings, maybe even 5 signings. And I've identified the areas where we need to strengthen up. We need a striker, we need a right winger, we need a defensive midfielder, and we also need a centre-half. There was narratives coming out earlier on this season saying that Man United will spend big in the summer transfer window, but Solskjaer did mention that he wants to keep transfer dealings quiet. I can assure Solskjaer will be Man United manager in the summer transfer window, and he'll be Man United manager next season, because we've already made it clear that Solskjaer will not be sacked even if we fail to win the Europa League this season. As you all know, the Europa League is our only chance of any silverware this season. But I said, you know, Solskjaer does deserve at least another season at the club because he has made progress. Solskjaer should get the backing he deserves in the summer transfer window. Because obviously we've got John Murtaugh, he's our director of football. It was the right decision by the club getting a director of football in, and obviously we've got Darren Fletcher, he's our technical director. And obviously Woodward came out earlier on this season and said that he believes Solskjaer is the right man to lead the club forward. And he released a statement earlier on this season regarding the players in Solskjaer. He says the progress by Solskjaer and the players this season is clear. And even when he was enjoying them bad periods, Wood would come out several times to show his support for Ollie. Ed Woodward has obviously resigned as Manchester United vice chairman. That got announced quite a few days ago. It says Woodward's expected to leave Man United in the summer rather than the end of the year. Ed Woodward has had a 16-year association with the club, but I presume all Man United fans are glad that, he's resigned, because we've been very critical of Ed Woodward for a long time. Quite a few players I think are going to leave Manchester United in the summer transfer window. Now, I think Alex Telles is going to be going. According to recent reports, Alex Telles has decided that he wants to leave Manchester United. Calcio Mercato have said that Juventus are interested in Telles and they're willing to offer Adrian Rabiot in exchange for Telles. Earlier on this season, there was talks about Alex Telles and Nuno Mendes swap deal. Telles has played nowhere near as much as I expected. In some of the games he's been involved in, though, he has done quite well. He's showed good attacking intent, he's got into good positions, he's put good crosses into the box, defensively he's been quite good. I thought when we got him last summer, he'd have been our first choice left back, but it hasn't happened. We got Telles in a deal worth 15.4 million from Porto. Edison Cavani looks like he's leaving Man United in the summer transfer window. Edison Cavani has put a transfer request in. He recently had a meeting with Manchester United and he's asked to leave Manchester United to join Boca Juniors. Now, it said not so long ago from Footballer Insider that Cavani is willing to take a pay cut to join Boca Juniors. It said he's already got a verbal agreement with them, and it said Boca Juniors are willing to offer him a 3-year contract. Earlier on this season, Solskjaer did say that Cavani was closer to Boca Juniors than staying at Manchester United. And prior to that, Edison Cavani's father came out and said that Cavani's unhappy, he doesn't feel comfortable in England and he wants to leave. And reports from Argentina said prior to that Cavani's decided to leave Man United after one season. But I think all United fans will be disappointed regarding this, because a lot of United fans would like Cavani to stay for next season, and I presume Solskjaer would like him to stay because he's made a fantastic impact since he's come in. He said not so long ago that we'd been handed a boost in our attempt to keep hold of Edison Cavani because the Uruguay manager advised him to stay in Europe. Earlier on this season, we held showdown talks with Cavani over his future at the club, and Solskjaer said prior to the Tottenham game he's unsure over Cavani's future. His current contract expires at the end of the season. There's an option to trigger his contract for a further year. But in a lot of his games at Man United, his hold-up play's been good, his movement in and out of the box has been good, he's created chances, he's scored very good goals. And he's got a good pedigree behind him as a player. He was very, very good at PSG, was Edison Cavani. He really was. He was a long-serving player as well at PSG. A lot of United fans are saying that we need to sell Anthony Martial in the summer because he's been out of form for the vast majority of this season. You know, the chances have been there for Martial, but he hasn't converted them. Earlier on this season, Solskjaer said he was backing Martial to rediscover his form, and he said he'd been impressed with Anthony Martial's work rate. Martial's out of injury at the moment. It's a knee injury. It's very, very imminent. He's going to be out for the rest of the season. Solskjaer confirmed that not so long ago. We sell Martial in the summer, I reckon we'll get around £30 million. I think he's had 2 good seasons at Man United. You know, he was good last season and he was good in his debut season under Louis van Gaal. He's been at the club now over 5 years. You know, we got him in a deal worth £54 million from Monaco. I think it was last season Ollie gave him that number 9 shirt. Juan Mata, I'm expecting us to offload him because he doesn't get in our 11 and his contract expires in June. There's an option to trigger his contract for a further year. He was out of injury not so long ago. Don't forget, towards the start of this season, Juan Mata rejected an $18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. I think he's had a good career at Manchester United though. He's been at the club over 6 years. We got him in a deal worth $40 million from Chelsea back in 2014, Juan Mata. And for us, he's made over 200 appearances and he's scored 50 goals. Donny van der Beek, you know, good chance we'll offload him. I think we should because he's not getting enough opportunities at Manchester United. Most of Donny van der Beek's appearances have come from the bench. He's only started 2 games in the league this season. Now, I said earlier on this season that we're considering a Donny van der Beek swap deal. And there was talks of a Donny van der Beek and Adrian Rabiot swap deal. Ronald de Boer earlier on this season actually backed Donny van der Beek to become a success at Man United. And he said earlier on this season that Van der Beek still feels loved at the club despite his lack of game time. Said earlier on this season that Van der Beek wanted to hold showdown talks with Ed Woodward regarding his future, and he said he wanted to quit Man United after 1 season due to his lack of game time. You know, we got him in a deal worth £40 million for Ajax last summer, and he's versatile. He can play in 3 different roles, so we need to use him more. I think there's a good chance that we'll offload Nemanja Matic in the summer transfer window because he isn't one of our first choice midfielders, but he still gets his chances, doesn't he? Analysing the vast majority of his games at Man United, he's been inconsistent, but he's been consistent in some games, but not that many. The club made a mistake giving him that new 3-year contract before the start of this season. Matic has been at the club almost 4 years. We got him in a deal worth $40 million from Chelsea back in 2017. Paul Pogba, he could still leave Man United in the summer transfer window. There again, he could stay potentially past the summer. I hope he stays because Pogba brings creativity to the team and we've been getting the best out of him in recent months. And recently we've been putting him in more of an advanced role. He's very effective in that advanced role. A few times before we've played him in that deeper role. Don't forget earlier on this season, Pogba was out with a thigh injury and he was out for a while. First part of this season he had an ankle injury and he was out for the vast majority of last season with an ankle injury. So he's sustained a few injuries now at Man United. Pogba could sign a new contract at Manchester United. If Paul Pogba does, then Bruno Fernandes has said he will sign a new contract. Pogba's current contract expires next year because earlier on this season we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract. Now, not so long ago, it says Pogba was demanding £500,000 a week to sign a new contract. I said if we was to meet them demands, it'd take his overall earnings to £800,000 a week almost. Because on his current contract at the moment, he's on 290 grand a week. But Paul Pogba recently insisted that he's happy at Man United, and not so long ago in an exclusive interview with Sky, he criticised Jose Mourinho, didn't he? He said Jose Mourinho went against the players, and he said Solskjaer is different. So, reflecting on that, you know, he's 100% Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in. Phil Jones, I think we should offload him because he's always been inconsistent and he doesn't get in R11 anyway, and he's been out of injury for over a year. He's the only outfield player that's still here from the Ferguson era. Diego Dalot, I think we'll be looking to get rid of him permanently. He's out on loan with AC Milan at the moment. Sergio Romero, I think we should offload him because he's like what, our third or fourth choice goalkeeper. And De Gea, we could sell him in the summer transfer window, but some Man United fans think it would be a mistake to let De Gea go. But I reckon he's had his years now at Man United. He's been at the club 10 years. So, there you go. But quite a lot of players are going to stay at Man United in the summer transfer window. And I reckon there's quite a few players that have got long-term futures at the club. Now, like I've said in regards to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he is our best manager since Ferguson. I'll stick to what I've said on my recent videos though. I don't think he's a long-term manager for Manchester United, but I hope I'm proven wrong. Our board thinks he's a long-term manager for Man United because earlier on this season it said that Solskjaer had agreed a new 3-year contract worth 30 million. I think Solskjaer's still got like a year or just under a year left on his current 3-year contract. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been criticised a lot as Manchester United manager. And a lot of United fans have been demanding him out. They've obviously had main explanations why they've been demanding him out. But I presume there's still a lot of United fans that are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in, and they believe that he needs more time at the club. You know, next season will be his third full season. You know, this is his second full season at the moment. Like I've said to you, I do have my concerns about Solskjaer. But there's also a lot of positives regarding Solskjaer as well, like I've already gone through with you. You know, he's been Manchester United manager now over 2 years. No, he hasn't got a proven pedigree as a manager, but reflecting now on he's been at the club, he has gained some managerial experience and he has learnt quite a bit on the job, and he's tried a few different elements such as different formations. He's rotated the squad a lot. I kind of sure we'll finish in the top 4 this season. We'll probably finish second place. You know, we're not going to win the league because we're too far behind City. But Solskjaer said not so long ago, we'll never ever give up on the Premier League title. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013, so that's 8 years ago now. Solskjaer knows how imperative it is to get his first trophy on the board as Man United manager. You know, because we haven't won a trophy since 2017. We appointed Solskjaer in December 2018 to replace Mourinho, and he's been permanent Man United manager since March 2019. The reason the club gave him the job permanently a couple of years ago was reflecting how well he did as the interim manager. Solskjaer knew when he'd taken over at Man United it was going to be a massive job, despite him knowing the club through thick and thin. One thing I'll give him credit for, when he got appointed in as Man United manager, he assured everybody would get their chances to express themselves, including the young players. And more or less, everybody has been given their chances. Yeah. So I'll be doing another video soon, guys. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always. And take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.